We're up to gig 15 in the bass string experiment series, but the videos will now be a little different as we look at the strings after 5 gigs, as the string changes are less noticeable after each gig. So how many gigs can these strings actually last for? Join me on the journey and let's find out. Here's gig 15. Here we go, this is gig number 15. Uncle Funk's Disco Inferno corporate event down in Docklands. We've got the Status Empathy, LEDs of course. Black marks on the silk winding, so you know it's the same strings. So we know the bottom end is changing. Top end's sort of smoothing out, less bite, less treble. See how we go. So big corporate event tonight. Catch up with you afterwards. See you later.
Hi gang, welcome back to Brooks's Bass Corner. Here we are, episode 16, or rather gig 16 of the bass string experiment series. I'm in the car. So this is the day after gig 16, which was yesterday. So it's Saturday the 15th of October 2022. The gig was yesterday. So it was a gig with the Bears, friends of mine who I've played with for many years, and it was a wake in Crawley, just south of the M25, kind of Sussex way, Surrey, Sussex kind of borders here in the UK. So it was a wake, someone's funeral, but they wanted party music, sing-along songs for the guests. To send the departed off in grand style. So the reason I'm doing the video now rather than last night, either on the gig or after the gig, is because we arrived, all the band, we literally loaded in, set up, did the gig and left. We were done quite early last night, so in the sort of pandemonium of getting everything set up and start playing for the guests, and it was in, do the job and go. It was as quick as that. So I'll give you the update now. So the strings on the Status Empathy, in terms of brightness, we're around 50%. In terms of feel, we're around 50%. In terms of bottom end, we're around the 75% mark still. And in terms of overall tone, still around 75%. So nothing's really changed from gig 15 to now being past gig 16 and heading towards gig 17. So there's now a couple of weeks until I use that bass and those strings again. Most of the gigs I've got coming up require different basses from the collection, so it'll be a few weeks until gig 17, and at the moment that's due to be Uncle Funk's Disco Inferno at Whittam Public Hall over in Essex, Hertfordshire, Cambridgeshire borders. So at the moment, yeah, strings still getting a big thumbs up, and we head on over to gig 17, so I will see you there. Take it easy. See you soon.
Yeah, I am. Just going to do like acoustic sort of solo. Yeah, it's great. It's really good. Yeah, all your favourite slap hits. So here we go. It's gig number 17, Uncle Funk's Disco Inferno at the Public Hall in Whittam in Essex. So we've just finished. We've just done a 2-hour show, and this is the governor, the boss. Would you hire a band from that man? But anyway, here we are. So the gig's finished. Had an absolute blast. I think we had about 200 plus people in, and we had a good night. So the Empathy's done great. Strings is fine. Dying off a bit now. Bottom 2 strings definitely lost their luster a bit, but it's fine. That's what this 3-band EQ is all about. So at the moment, brightness is okay. They're going, but it's all right. I can deal with it. There's plenty of treble and mid on here. Brightness is good. Bottom end is great, solid. It hasn't died off. It's not sort of, there's no lack of sustain. It's all good. Overall feel, yep, all good. And generally the tone is fine. It's kind of going along nicely. So we're kind of in that mid phase at the moment on gig 17. Clearly, we're at that point where we've had all the brightness and the clarity and the tight feel and the grindiness of the Rotosound strings. We're now just in that mid-range of the brightness is dimming, but there's still punch there, so it's all good. There's no major issues. So My next couple of gigs are Oasis gigs, so I have to use precisions and jazzes for that. And I've got a Queen gig coming up next week as well, so that's precision. So this will get another outing, unless another gig comes in before it. It will be at the theatre in Eastbourne in 2 weeks' time. So when we do all this again, all the disco hits, so all good. So no amplification tonight, it's straight off a pedal board, IEMs, bass, pedals, that's about it. So here's the pedal board. So looking a little ragtag, it needs tidying up and putting back together. I've had a few gigs going on and had to take pedals off and do stuff, but it's all good, all working fine. So bass into tuner, into drop pedal, into octave pedal, into the filter twin, into the Aguilar tone hammer. Feed from that out the XLR socket goes straight to the house system and the Soundman, and then I get the whole band in my IEM setup, which is down there. So it's all good, simple, easy, lovely. Here we go, gig number 18 on the Bass String Experiment series, Uncle Funk's Disco Inferno at the Hippodrome Theatre in Eastbourne, and we've had an absolute blast. Packed out theatre, disco classics all the way. Status Empathy is here, gig number 18. So these strings have been on since the last week in July, and here we are last week in November. So it's all go, and we've got a month of gigs coming up in December, 4 or 5 different bands. We're going to be getting into the 20s soon, but these strings are still going strong. Well done, Rotosound, playing a blinder. So tone wise, yes, all starting, kind of the top end's all dropping off now, but thankfully on this bass it's I can dial extra in. But yeah, we're flying. We are absolutely flying. So I don't foresee these coming off before the late 20s, early 30s, if that. So we'll see how far we go. So this is gig number 18. We're going to be doing gig number 19 on Friday next week. Uncle Funk again, Disco Inferno in Hoddesdon. Bass String Experiment, gig number 19. With the Status Empathy, with the Rotosounds, with the black marks on the strings, so you know it's the same ones. So we've just finished a gig here at the Spotlight in Hoddesdon, which is kind of Hertfordshire, Cambridgeshire way, I guess. And just done 2 hours of disco classics and disco hits. So everything is kind of as it was. So even after yet another gig, the strings are great. Losing some of the top end, some of the feel. You can tell they're dying off a bit now. Bottom end's pretty good. Overall, they're pretty good. Nothing really to complain about. Plenty of EQ on the bass, so I'm putting in some extra tops, some extra low mids. Not really having to boost the bottom end, that's all cool. And yeah, so that was gig number 19. And then tomorrow's gig number 20, Platinum ABBA, the Dorking Halls in Surrey. And we'll go again. We'll give these strings another absolute hammering and we'll see how we're going after that. And then next week there's another 3 gigs next week. So we'll be up to gig number 23 by next week. So yeah, they're doing well. They're doing well. So I'll see you tomorrow, gig number 20. Take it easy. See you later. So after gig 19, where are the strings at? Well, they're pretty much in a similar state, feel and tone as they were prior to gig 15. They're now firmly ensconced in that well played in phase that all strings go through. A lot of players might choose to change their strings at this point, but we're going to carry on using them and see how far we get. In terms of feel, we're sticking at 50%, and despite the brightness beginning to tail off, this can stay at 50% as well. The bottom end is still fairly solid, although this might change soon, so that can stay at 75% for now. And the overall tone is still pretty good, so that can stay at 75% as well. With everything considered, these strings are still getting a big thumbs up. And we move on to gig number 20, which is with Platinum ABBA at the Dorking Halls in Surrey. I'll see you there.